And just like that, Manchester City are within 3 points of the top of the Premier League. Crisis? What crisis? Mark Donaldson, Shaka Hislop, to guide you through Sunday's action in the Premier League. A win, Shaka, for Manchester City at Brentford by a 0-0. But at what cost? Rodri having to be substituted in the 22nd minute after Erling Haaland had given City the lead. A day of mixed emotions, I suppose, for City, depending on the severity, and hopefully it's not too severe, of Rodri's injury.
Yeah, I guess so. And right now, first signs, and I freely admit I'm no doctor, but the signs weren't that awful for Rodri. Walked off on his own strength. You saw when he kind of pulled up, wasn't any nobody was around him. And in actual fact, he wasn't really running that far. So you want to think, and again, no physio. You want to think it's a strain more so than a pull to the right hamstring, I think it was. And hopefully, for Manchester City's sake, it's not too long term. It's an international break, so that probably helps in that regard, at least time wise, and how much treatment he's able to get.
What would Dr. Hislop consider the difference between a strain and a tweak?
A tweak is very slight. A strain is middle, and a pull is top of the charts.
Okay, it's a bit like VAR deciding is it careless, reckless, or using excessive force.
Yeah,
so there you go.
You don't get any more in the medical books.
You don't get any more from Dr. Hislop without you having to charge money for appointments. So we'll leave it there. But thank you for the clarification.
Anytime.
For that. Thank you. Appreciate that. Now, Rodri's 22nd minute injury came after City were already a goal ahead. Haaland, 9-game scoring streak for club and country. It's like last season was a blip for him, and he's back to the way that everyone thought he would be. He just scores every time he gets on the pitch. He had to work for this one. He did well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, and it's scary in truth, and it shows the strength of Haaland. Haaland's like no other striker, not just in English football, but dare I say, world football. Anybody else would have gone down. Anybody else would have taken the penalty, but not Haaland. With a defender draped all over his back, he's able to shrug aside the challenge, not once, not twice, but 3 times, and then a comfortable finish at the end of it. I mean, I'm really not sure what else or how else you're supposed to defend that when Haaland is in this kind of form. Truth be told, for Brentford, at least they were able to limit his chances going forward from then on in. But just as far as his goal goes, I'm not sure what else you can do as a human being to stop Erling Haaland in that situation.
Legally, yes.
Yeah.
Illegal gets you into trouble.
Yeah, and those first couple of attempts, I'm not sure how legal they were either. But Haaland just shrugs aside the attentions. I'm trying to remember the defender. I can't remember the name right now, but he just shrugged them aside as though he weren't there. And again, I'm not sure how legal those 2 charges were in the first place.
Do you want to talk for half an hour about the rest of the game?
I'm not sure I can talk for half an hour about the rest of the game. From there on in, the most I can say is it was controlled from Manchester City from there on in without building on their lead. I thought Reinders had one shot from about 25 yards that went about 25 yards over the crossbar. Phil Foden had a couple opportunities that I thought he could and should have done better with. In the end, fairly straight at the goalkeeper. Outside of that, nothing to report. But I mentioned those just in terms of Manchester City scoring and the dispersion or lack of dispersion of goal scorers in their squad. Threatened so much, but in the end, it's all about Erling Haaland. You're just waiting for somebody else to join in and make Manchester City the fearless team or fearsome team, wherever the adjective is of a couple of years ago. Because right now, Haaland is getting no real support in terms of goal scoring.
That's a good point. A couple of years ago, I spoke about Haaland and how he was flying, but everyone else was chipping in with goals. City would have put that game to bed a couple of years ago, wouldn't they?
Yeah, absolutely they would. And like I say, they had not that they were in want of chances. They had a couple of chances. And again, falling to Foden, um, who had the best of the two chances, but just miscued a couple of efforts. And um, two seasons ago, those would end up in the back of the net, and this would have absolutely been a stroll in the park. In the end, because of the just the one goal, Brentford kind of go all the way to the end, believing that they can get something out of this game. And Donnarumma had to, I don't want to say be at his best, but certainly be get called into action in a way that maybe he should have. Maybe City's control of the game didn't warrant.
Yeah, look, City win the game. This is the whole thing that we're trying to say. They won it. They were in cruise control to win it. But a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, when they were winning titles every single year, they were winning these games 2, 3, 4 by 4 goals or whatever. Now you've got Donnarumma to thank for denying Brentford the equaliser. Now Igor Thiago, he's maybe taken an extra heavy touch. He's gone through on goal. Now, I know he might not be the best goalkeeper in the world as far as the ball at his feet, but what are you thinking if you're Donnarumma, right? And I'm sure you had many strikers bearing down on you. You're a big lad as well as he is. What's the biggest thing that you have to do to try and make that goal for him look as small as possible?
Well, you're waiting for the mistake, and the mistake came in Thiago's second to last touch,
yes,
which I thought was a little bit heavy. And Donnarumma, once he made that touch, was able to close the ground really quickly. I will also say that he got a big helping hand from O'Reilly tracking back, because it meant that Thiago could not go right, and so it limited Thiago's options once he came face to face with Donnarumma. And then it's about Donnarumma's experience in recognizing that heavy touch, recognizing when to advance. And once he did, it's just about Donnarumma staying big. I say almost in inverted commas. Donnarumma is a big old boy. And once he closes that ground, Thiago tries the little chip, but he's too close. Donnarumma is just too big, hits him flush in the chest. And their best chance of the game goes a begging for Brentford.
So with Liverpool losing again, third time in a week, Arsenal winning, Spurs doing what Spurs do and doing it well, potential banana skin and winning at Leeds, they're third, Bournemouth at fourth, City quietly up to fifth. They'll be happy that no one's really talking about them, will they?
Yeah, they'll be delighted about that. Listen, I don't think this is the City of 2 years ago, but certainly they've already shown that they are much better than the City of last season. And if they are able to get contributions in terms of goal scoring from the midfield, I mentioned Reinders, like I mentioned Foden, Cherky coming back from injury. Maybe that changes a lot of the dynamic. Savinho and Doku, very good wing players, but you don't fancy them to get into double digits of goal scoring. They may grab one or two here or there. So I'm not. Well, I don't want to say critical, but not expecting of those two in terms of goals. But if you can get contributions from the others, if you can get one other player hitting double digits, one other player up in the 8 or 9, or one or two other players up in the 8 or 9 range, and Erling Haaland doing Erling Haaland things, this could be a very good City team. Are they good enough to win the league? I'm not so sure I'll commit to that just yet, but certainly a good enough team to worry the likes of Arsenal, who are currently sitting on top and probably favourites at this point, given what we've seen from Liverpool over the last couple of weeks.
Arsenal. Yeah, Arsenal are the best footballing team right now in the Premier League, and they're top of the table. So City win, good 3 points for them.